Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to go over the best heroes for Season 18 in Overwatch. Basically covering DPS in this video, so if you guys do want to see one for support as well as tank and you're new to the channel here, hit subscribe and you'll definitely be notified when that's out. The gameplay that you guys are seeing, just as a heads up, is on my Smurf. It just takes way too long to actually get games on my other accounts, and I don't really want to wait half an hour just to play one game to get Face World Kappa, but you know, that's just the nature of it with, of course, role lock implemented in. And because more people want to play DPS than any other role, that's just the nature of it. But I still feel like there's so many things to learn as Doomfist that I still need to learn. But we actually did peek at Masters on my Smurf account, which is the account that you guys are seeing here. Just pretty much playing Doomfist, and he's such a blast to play. But anyways, I do want to first off start off with this video by saying that there are certain maps where it's just better to play other heroes. Don't always think that, oh, these are the best heroes, I'm going to play them every single time. Depending on your playstyle as well, and as well as your team composition and the game type. Specifically 2CP, there can be heroes that are very strong for those, especially since ultimates have been nerfed, meaning that they aren't going to be as common in games anymore, so you really have to value those ultimates or kind of use them to be a little bit more efficient. But anyways, so starting off with Season 18's S tier list, and again, if you don't play any of these heroes, don't feel bad. You can go ahead and learn them. And I'm going to consider Symetra and Mei. In fact, I've been watching a lot of other Overwatch content creators, and they basically have pretty much the same list that I have for the most part, and we'll get into some of the differences. But basically, Symetra and Mei are very strong because of the tank lineup. So Season 18 in Overwatch is basically going to be Sigma and Orisa for most of the games. Now, since the gameplay that you guys are seeing is on a lower ranked account, which is only Diamond here, you're not going to see every single game in Diamond, but I would say if you get up into like the Masters Plus, it's Sigma, Orisa every single time. And if your team doesn't have that, they're going to be complaining. They're going to tell you the tanks to swap off. That's just the nature of Overwatch. But nonetheless, because Sigma and Orisa are very common, that's what makes the Mei and Symetra pick very, very strong in the game. And that's because they are going to be very consistent at dealing with that specific composition. And on top of that, Symetra has basically gotten a rework as well as some buffs here and there that just made her a lot better. Same thing with Mei, being able to use Ice Block and get rid of any negative status effects, meaning if you are actually purple, like Ana throws a grenade on you, you're going to be able to get rid of any basically downside effects, or if Ash sets you on fire. Like, basically all the negative effects, that has actually been changed, and she's gotten more ammo. She's gotten a lot of different buffs here and there, and over time, because the way the game has shifted, you can go ahead, and especially on 2CP, just go ahead and throw up an Ice Wall, then go ahead and teleport with Symetra, go to the point, and like, you can surprise your opponent with Symetra and Mei quite often with some of the plays that you can do. And they're great for soloing, and mostly it's for the consistency that they do offer, because Symetra's beam is going to be really active in the game. And another thing that a lot of people aren't mentioning is, surprisingly, that downtime on the reload could be another kill that Symetra could actually get. In fact, she actually gains ammo while you actually hit shields with her left click. So that's actually really, really strong in the game right now, especially because, again, Orisa and Sigma, you're going to have those double shields, and you can melt things super, super fast and just stay behind your shield, melt theirs, and you can just take out tanks super fast. That's something I want to say that is very common for people that are picking up Symetra. They'll try to focus in on like the DPS, but the thing is, in less than 4 seconds, you can melt some of the tanks in the game, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because once their shields are gone, you just hold that left click, and they're a much easier target because Symetra has gotten a nerf on her beam's width. So basically, it's going to be a little bit harder to track the targets. However, it's still a very strong pick. Again, you could just melt things, and again, it's relatively easy to play. And that's why I would consider Mei and Symetra in this S tier category. They're more forgiving if you make a few mistakes here and there, especially with basically aiming. But Mei's ult is obviously really fantastic, and because D.Va's not so common in the game, and even if D.Va's there, just go ahead and freeze her and then throw out your ultimate. You do have to watch out for Sigma because he can actually eat a lot of ultimates as well. You can eat the Zarya grab and stuff, so you gotta watch out for that. But just go ahead and freeze the whole team, and then or freeze the target that you don't want to actually ruin or disrupt your play, and you'll be good to go. But anyways, the next thing that I want to go ahead and get into is the A tier picks. So you see that I have Reaper here, and a lot of other Overwatch content creators are considering Reaper in the A tier category. It really just comes down to Sigma being so relevant in the game. And right now, I don't know if it's a bug, but Sigma can actually block Reaper's shot. If Sigma is behind Reaper and Reaper is shooting, it will still block the shots. But some content creators are also putting Doomfist in this S tier category, but there's so much to learn with Doomfist. Like, for example, this 125 slam here. There's just so much more to learn as Doomfist that and there's also a lot of bugs. Any Doomfist mains out there will definitely tell you there's so many times where certain things just go wrong. You get one pick, you die, and then, you know, you're kind of making a trade, and you're like, yo, I got a pick, guys, and, you know, their whole team was on me. You know, how come you guys didn't do anything? Like, that can happen. And the thing is how I've been playing Doomfist, at least on my Smurf right now, is just prioritizing the Sigma. If you can trade the Doomfist for the Sigma and they can't res the Sigma, it is huge in the game, and the reason why is because Sigma actually does so much DPS. I would consider him one of the best DPSs right now in the game. He just offers so much in the game. He can stop other enemies' ultimates just by just lifting them up and saying, nope, sorry. And then on top of that, he deals so much damage to them, and on top of that, he can basically, if he gets knocked off, he can also use his ultimate to get back on the ledge. There's just a lot of mechanics. He can bounce his shots off walls. Like, I know this isn't going to be a video specifically talking about Sigma, but the thing is that he's so strong in the game that, like, you can play certain heroes and just make trades with a Sigma, and if you can trade yourself for Sigma and your team still has a Sigma, is definitely worth it. But the reason why, again, I put Doomfist not in the S tier, there's just too many bugs, and the learning curve is quite steep for him, as in it's going to take some time. If you want to learn Doomfist, I'm going to recommend a channel, GetQuaked On. That's where I learned a lot of different jumps and little bounces that you can do. He's a really great content creator if you guys are interested in learning Doomfist. But again, there's a lot of bugs with Doomfist. Next up, though, Hanzo as well as Reaper. So the reason why I consider them below is because they have a little bit less consistency. You know, sometimes you just don't land those shots with Hanzo, or sometimes, you know, you get unlucky, certain things happen, right? But the thing is that because of the double shield meta, Hanzo is actually great for being able to flank your opponents and basically be able to kind of have some shield break with his storm arrows as well as an escape, and he's great at every single range in the game. And that's what makes Hanzo a very solid pick for this season. But Reaper can be great too. A lot of people have been doing Reaper to kind of put Mei in check. Because, you know, obviously you can get out of, when she's trying to freeze you, you can get out of that and just try to just delete her. She's going to go ahead and use Ice Block, and then, well, just hope that you're able to melt her before is able to freeze you as Reaper. And again, I just feel like Mei overall is just much more consistent in the game to be able to pull off what you need to pull off at any given time. Whereas Reaper, sometimes you can get countered by like a McCree or any essential like stun. I feel like Reaper can lose out more than Mei, because Mei has basically two things that she can kind of utilize to get out of, whereas Reaper, you can try to use your teleport to get out of things, but most of the time you're going to go ahead and rip, or you can just teleport into the enemy team, which has actually been a pretty viable strategy. I've noticed if you're playing Reaper, you just teleport 1v6 and you can Wraith out, force them to use a bunch of their abilities, and it can actually help your team quite a bit. Those are what I would consider the main heroes that you guys should be interested in playing if you're interested in playing DPS. The next thing I want to talk about is, and you might be wondering, yo, why is Moira on this? Yo, Moira is on here because the other DPS is so bad this season because of the double shield meta. It's just very inconsistent to play some of these heroes. Like, Bastion Tracer can definitely be utilized on certain maps, and on top of that, Bastion can just be used on pushing the payload due to, of course, being able to just melt shields super fast. But sometimes picking other heroes, like picking McCree sometimes is kind of a throw, just like, you know, jumping off the map as Doomfist over there. But honestly, because of double shield, like, it's so hard to do anything as McCree sometimes, and it's usually McCree that is used when, let's say, they have a Doomfist or a ball that's super annoying. But again, we're really talking about the meta when there's Sigma and Orisa. And McCree, there's just not enough room for you to be able to really utilize yourself. Widow, you can get some cheeky shots in because Sigma quite often will replace the shield, and during that downtime, I feel like Widow can really utilize those windows a lot better than, let's say, McCree, because, well, McCree, you're not going to be one-tapping anyone unless, of course, you're damage boosted and you're hitting a Tracer in the head. But basically, that's what I would consider in like the B tier category. Next up, I want to consider these in the C tier, and it really just comes down to the shield meta. But again, certain maps can really help out more than others, but it's just difficult to get any damage in. And one thing I do want to mention real quick is, you might be wondering, yo, if this is the shield meta, why isn't Sombra on, like, S tier, right? It just takes too long to build your ults. Ultimate charges, technically, they have been reduced, so you're gonna get a lot less ults in the game, and that's just the nature of it. But in 2CP specifically, Sombra can be very good, so keep that in mind as well. It's just more of a general guideline for some of these heroes. It's just, all these heroes just can't get the damage in that they need to because, again, the shields are technically there. The next thing I want to mention, like, if you get Ana and you Nano Blade, yeah, you can wipe the enemy team, but sometimes things can go wrong, and a lot of times Sigma going to be hitting his ult, and then you're going to be like, yo, I'm sorry, dude, Sigma hit his ult, and they're going to be like, Genju, why'd you get 0 kills? And then you'll have to explain to them. Lastly, over here, I consider Soldier to be one of the worst DPS right now. Maybe he'll get a buff. I mean, he recently did get a buff. He got some extra range and damage with a few iterations ago, but the thing is his ultimate is so weak for the most part against the shield meta, and on top of that, like, good luck doing any damage, because if you're looking to flank with Soldier, you could one-shot someone with Hanzo, or you can sit there and get RNG Bloom and attempt to hit enough shots to actually down them as Soldier. I think we obviously know what's much better. I think Ashe can do the job much better, because Ashe's ultimate is actually a lot better, and also I want to mention something. When you're playing Ashe, Ashe can actually build her ultimate while Bob is out. Now, the thing is that since ultimates have all been reduced overall, it's going to be less Bobs, therefore she's less effective. But her ultimate unquestionably is much better than Soldiers, and because her time to kill can be much faster than Soldiers, she has a little bit more value. But I still think that, again, all these heroes can be viable depending on your playstyle, depending on the map, certain team compositions, but overall this is more of a general guideline for anyone that's interested in playing in this season, you know, what is going to be, I would consider, like, the go-to heroes to actually play if you're interested in climbing the ladder. But anyways, that's my tier list. You guys can let me know if you disagree, and I would love to know also why, because, you know, obviously we're just messing around this season and kind of figuring out what is kind of more fun to play, especially since I'm kind of testing out a lot of different strategies, as well as learning out my own rollouts, which sometimes ends up falling off the map as Doomfist. But, yo, if you guys do want to check me out over on Twitch, and you want to watch me feed on my Smurf on Doomfist and come in and have some memes, we do viewer games once in a while, as long as you're within the SR, because obviously there's SR difference. But later this season, we'll try to, I do want to try to hit at least top 420 on Doomfist this season, because I enjoy him. He's just so much more fun to play than literally, because I'm a tank main, and, like, honestly, the Qs aren't that bad with tank, but I'd rather just play DPS, because sitting behind a shield the whole game is just not enjoyable personally for me, but that's sometimes the way the meta goes. And keep in mind, just because your hero's not good to this patch, Legend Online, how a lot of the Blizzard games work, it's just taking turns. Your season might be next season, and your character will be OP once again, Kappa. But anyways, that's my tier list. You guys can, like I said, let me know if you guys feel like I missed on any great information. But like I said, I'll be making one for tanks as well as support later down the line. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. If you're new here and did enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe and you'll definitely see more. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys. And I'm signing out. Peace.